Okay, so 221, let's do some of the answers from each section, but I'll answer any problems you have. So 221, the first section we're factoring, doing a thing called factoring a GCF, where GCF stands for greatest common factor. So that's something that can go into these other things. So what you're going to get is one thing to the front of a set of parentheses. It's basically doing what backward? Distributing. We're just distributing backward on these first couple. So what do you think for what?
Y.
Yeah. So I'll teach something I didn't mention yesterday, but it is not important to me. But the answer is going to look like this. So if you want to say this in the official correct way, does anybody remember what the official correct word is to use involved in this thing?
Is it just saying?
No, it's a Q word. Anybody with a Q word that would factor in if we said this technically correctly?
Oh, what? Or
Quantity. You'd say y times the quantity of y minus 5. Okay, most of the time I just don't feel like saying the word quantity like 18 times in the next 5 minutes. So I'll just read this with like a pause in my voice. That's technically not correct. Okay, I would just probably read this as y minus 5. Or I might say y times y minus 5. And I hope that by pausing you sense there's parentheses there. But technically you're supposed to say y times the quantity of y minus 5. But on this group, if we pre-advertise, these all should have one set of parentheses, and you just pause for a second, I think that is sufficient for us to get by, but technically we're wrong. So if you go to some other school or college or somewhere and somebody's yapping at you that you're saying it wrong, you're saying it wrong. That's true, that's a fair observation, but for me right now, I don't care. 2, thought?
X plus 1.
Agreed.
2a plus 1.
Agreed.
2y plus 1.
Agreed. And then I think we kind of got the gist of that. As I look these over, I don't think I see any on this group that go and then go again. I don't notice any. People will agree. You're with me on that? Yeah. So let's do 18 real quick, because that's like super long, but it's not super hard. It's still just the same thing. What do you think for 18?
5.
Yeah?
2a to the fourth plus 3a squared minus 5a minus 6.
Agreed. If you need more of those, I can do more of those. The odd answers are all in the back, but does anybody need any more detail on that 1 to 18 than what I just gave you? Anybody have anything that confused you 1 to 18? I'm just trying to go a little bit fast forward mode just to get to other things.
So 18.
Just take out a 5.
I put 5A because I thought you.
The last one didn't have an A.
I think you'd be the lowest.
Yeah, since the last one didn't have any A's, that is considered the lowest. Anybody else on that first 18? Anything that was any kind of trouble zone? Okay, 19 has a name. Anybody memory of what type of problem are these called?
Perfect square.
One section too early. Right answer, but I asked the wrong question. These are difference of squares. They're subtracting. All the powers are even. So what do we do to those even powers? Because we can cut them all in half. The numbers, what can all the numbers do? Be square rooted, so we do. And we're going to create some almost twin factors. Just one factor has a
plus,
and the other one has a minus. Does it matter what order?
nope.
It does not. So 19, thought?
X plus 4, x minus 1.
Agreed? 20? You're 20?
I didn't do it, but I can do it real quick.
can.
I'm real good at this stuff.
That's all right, we can wait for you. Yeah, if you're not on 221, anybody, grab a book, go to 221, just in case I ask you a sneaky follow-up question or something.
Number 20,
20?
it's y plus 3, y minus 3.
You're just that good. 21?
3x plus 5, 3x minus 5.
Agreed? Sorry for feeding his ego, everybody. 22?
2a plus 7, 2a minus 7.
Correct. And then I'll just take a timeout on that.
Oh boy.
There are a few where you have to factor and then refactor. So let's pick out a couple of those. Anybody see one? What do I mean by we factor and then refactor? 27 would be one. So 27, we would first take out 3. And that leaves you stuck with 8s. And then we break that down. So one of the breakdowns would have x to the 4 plus y to the 4. The other breakdown would have the same thing but minus. Can we re-break down x4 plus y4? I heard yeses and nos. Somebody with a strong opinion and a
You
reason?
do the minus one,
We do the minus one to break down. Why don't we break down the plus one?
because there'd just be two lines.
Yeah, and it's just to be this type of problem, it's called a difference, which means it has to be meaning
Subtraction.
subtraction. So when we go to do 27, the 3 comes out and we keep it forever. x4 plus y4 we keep forever. What's the minus version of the 4 problem becomes? A bunch of 2's. X squared plus y squared, you're going to have to keep. X squared minus y squared, you're
You do
going
it
to
again.
do it again. And that becomes x plus y, x minus y. So that on 27 is going to have a total of 4 factors. A 3, a bunch of 4 stuff that's adding, a bunch of 2 stuff that's adding, and adding with just x and y, and subtracting with just x and y. And that's the longest one. What's another one that goes and then goes again?
28.
28 does. So 28, we take out a 5, that's there forever. Which adding breakdown do you get stuck with?
X squared.
Squares. And then you're going to get an x plus y and an x minus y. Does anybody need more level of detail, 19 to 30, than what I'm saying there? Yeah. 24. So 24 there's nothing in common, so we just start breaking stuff down. The 100, we can root it to make a pair of 10s. The y squared make y and y, plus 1 minus in the other one, and with the 81 it twins with, who can, 9s.
Oh, okay.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Anybody else up to 30 with the difference of squares? And then 31, I went on a little bit of rant that they were giving you these perfect squares the day before. I would have given you the perfect squares, but I guess if I want to rant, I should write a book and otherwise just shut up, I guess. But what's going on these, the best way to do these normally is to just unfoil using today's lesson. And then if you happen to bump into it being a square, you write it as a square. But since they helped us, I guess, in a sense, by putting these in this section together, if you know the answer is going to be a square, you can kind of cheat the pattern. But you have I think we're to you for 31?
Y minus 3 squared.
It's y minus 3 squared, 32.
X minus 4 squared.
X minus 4 squared, 33.
X plus 7 squared.
It's x plus 7 squared, 34. X plus 8 squared, 35. They went out of order, so just put it back in descending order and then it works better.
X plus 1.
It is x plus 1 squared, 36. We'll need to put back in descending order, but then it'll flow.
X minus.
It's x minus, but not 2. It is x minus 1 squared. In terms of going and going again, 41 is one that's like that. So 41 would have to have a little bit of a different start. It's not a perfect square. What kind of obvious thing clues you in, wait a minute, this isn't a perfect square right now the way this looks. What's weird about its look right now?
We all have ones.
Yeah, they all have y's. And what are some of the powers that are non-helpful?
Like a cube.
Cubes and odds. Like we got some odd powers in there, so that's not good news. So your first scenario on 41 is to take out a y. So 41's answer would have a y, and then it's going to be a square. 42's answer would take out something and then be a square. What can we take out on 42? An a. So 42 will take out an a, and then it's a square. 43, you'd have to take out a 3. 44, take out 5, 45, take out 2, 46, 2, 47's good. You could switch the order if you wanted, or you can leave it. So that's sort of an interesting one in a way. If 47, you went with the order it was given to you and had 1 minus 4d, and it was squared, that's fine. If you switch the order up and had 4d minus 1, and it's squared, that's fine. And maybe that troubles people at first, maybe that bothers you, but there's a logical reason why that's fine. Anytime you square something, it makes it true, sort of true, positive. Anything that's squared turns out positive. So if you have a subtract and you reverse it, the impact is normally that the thing changes its sign. But if you're squaring it, the sign really is always positive. It doesn't matter. So if some people have 1 minus 4d and other people have 4d minus 1, that would normally matter, but the square means it doesn't matter. Similarly on 48, I mean, it could be 5y minus 8, right? 5y minus 8 would work, 8 minus 5y would work. Doesn't really matter, but it's also a square. Anybody need a repeat? Anybody need some guidance on how to do anything? Any kind of problems with 221? Anything? Make sure names are on there. Send that down. Hopefully you're in a good homework place, building up momentum, because this has been a friendly chapter so far. Today we dig into what we started to do yesterday just by accident. When we did the squares, I kind of got stuck talking about this. Today is doing what we wanted to do yesterday. So we're just doing regular old factoring. When people think of factoring, I think they think most of this. Factoring is anything that's opposite of multiplying. But this is probably what you think of most, is I give you x squareds, you start going x and x, we break things down. Okay, the signs are the most important thing to tell you what the type of problem is. So I think in your Algebra 1 book when we had this, things like this were a lesson. Then the next day we switched the sign and that was a lesson. And then the next day we switched a different sign and like those were a lesson. I think the Algebra 1 book unveiled this in like 3 lessons. Today we're just jumping in and just remember everybody. But where's our first sign we look at?
The second.
The second one. So we always look here first. When this is a plus, it tells us that the answer signs need to be same. And not just the same as each other, same as the first. So this problem is going to have double pluses, but this problem is going to have double minuses. And then the ruling on the numbers is we always multiply to make the ending number. But what are we doing to make the middle number when we're same? We add. So who's our number pair on this? 3, 2, or 2, 3. Since signs are the same, doesn't matter where you put them. So these both have to do with like a 3, 2 breakdown. Question about those? This has nothing to do with 3, 2. When we go to do this one, the last sign minus tells us we have to be different. When they're different, we're still multiplying to make 6, but it can't be 2, 3 anymore, because what are we doing to make middle? Subtracting. So who can do that?
1 and 6.
1, 6. Now it does matter who goes where, because they're different signs. So how do we know who goes where?
Bigger number goes with whatever sign that is.
Bigger number goes with this sign. So here the minus would grab 6 to push 1 there, and here the plus 6 to push 1 there. Question about that. This one, signs same or different?
Different.
Different. So if we subtract to make 1, it's 4, 3. And the plus is taken 4. Question about that. Same, different? Different. Because of that minus. So we're subtracting to make 7. 9, 2. 9 takes the minus. And 2 goes there. Question about those. So let's slide off. if I drop a number in front of the x squared, it takes a different sort of strategy, and there's two ways this could go. What's your first thing you try to do if there's a number in front of the x squared?
Let's get it out.
Get it out, take out a GCF. Okay, so if you have a number in front of the x squared, first thing, do I have a GCF? Because if you can take out a GCF, you're not in a new problem pattern, you're doing exactly what we did over there. Okay, after we get the GCF, we're just good. Did any of these have a GCF? Top one. Top one, you can take out 3 to go x squared minus 4x plus 4. So answer would have a 3 still hanging around. XX. Signs? Both minus. Numbers? 2 and 2. And then in an annoying moment to your life on a quiz, I would take off half a point for that.
You go
And you'd be like, oh, come on, was that really necessary?
3 and then x minus 2 squared.
I'd like you to write that as a square. Something about that? Yeah. Okay, so we'd be thinking about multiplying to 4 once we took out the GCF. And since signs were same, also adding to 4. 2 and 2 is the only numbers that can do that. Anybody else so far? Then the way I do this, if I have a number in front of the x squared and I don't have a GCF, what I'm going to teach you to do is what I do, which is you just guess. And you hope. And if you're a good guesser, it doesn't take real long. If you're a terrible guesser, it might take you a little while. Mrs. Walters found some sort of other way to do this that doesn't involve guessing, but I forget what it was. It's true, it works. It was from like Singapore or somewhere. I think she did that as an option for some of you that had her for Algebra 1. If it works, go for it. If it confused you, don't do it. I don't remember what it was, and I'm an old dog, and there's a saying, it's hard to teach an old dog a new trick. So even though it was valid, I'm stuck. There's no hope for me. I'm doing this the way I've been doing it. So what I do is I just guess check. So 2x squared, not much of a guess involved in that. It's going to be 2x versus x. No doubt, that's not a guess. That's just my only choice. If I'm going to start this 6x squared one though, I have to guess. What would be a possible guess?
3, 2.
Could be 3, 2.
6, 1.
Could be 6, 1. I will generally not guess the ones that involve 1 unless I see a really big middle number. So if I see 6x squared, I will pretty much always try my 3, 2 possibilities until I run out of possibilities, unless this middle number was really sizable compared to its peers. Okay, so my guess on this with 6 is going to be 3, 2. Does that mean I'm right? No. Does it mean I feel like the odds are in my favor? Yes. I feel pretty sure this is going to be a 3, 2, not a 6, 1. But it could be a 6, 1. But let's go back to this one. So 2x squared was not a guess. This 6x squared is a guess. And now we go signs. Signs? Positive guess, or is that we know? We just know. So this one isn't bad. With a plus here, signs are same as that. The sign rules are the same as they were in the other column. These are both pluses. We have not guessed yet at all. 3 is not a bad number because the only way to get 3 is to multiply with 3 and 1. But here's our guess. You know, we could either put 3, 1, or we could put 1, 3. And there's no real reason why to do one versus the other unless you're like mental math doing it as you go. I know what the answer is going to be, but I am going to go like this, and it's not because I'm dumb. Is this right or wrong? Did I guess right or wrong? Wrong. A hint was that I was wrong because I said I'm dumb. I'm not dumb. You know, I was already making excuses for myself. How do we know?
It's just like
It's guess and then do what to check?
foil.
You foil it. You don't even have to fully foil. The F part of foil, we know those were good. The L part of foil, we knew that was good. We need the OI part, okay? So we need the outsides, which make 2x. The insides make 3x. Together, that's 5x. I need a 7x. I have a 5x, so I did not guess the right way. I guessed the wrong way on purpose to make you foil it, or OI it if you prefer. So I'll swap these back, and then let's foil that piece just to verify that we are good. These make 6x, that makes 1x. There's my 7x, and I'm gold. Question about that? If you don't like guess check, talk to Ms. Walters about Singapore or YouTube video it or something. But there is some way to do this without guessing, but I don't remember it, honestly. This one, science, different. So that's a guess, I don't know. So somebody out there with a voice, plus or minus?
Minus.
Minus, so that'll be on my plus. 6 is another same guess, so our options are 3, 2 or 1, 6. I've already told you I'm generally not going to use 1, 6 unless
Big.
I get a big middle number. So I don't see a big middle number, so I don't think 1, 6 will do it. I think 2, 3 is going to do it. I would absolutely put 2. I will not put 3. Even if somebody said 3, I'd say no. Why would I have said no if someone said 3? Anybody know?
It's just gonna be 6. It's gonna be 6 and 6.
If I put a 3 here, what could I do to that factor?
That'd be like 3 and then.
I could pull out a 3.
Minus 1.
If I put a 3 here, I could pull out a 3. If I would be able to pull out a 3 now, that's only possible if I could have pulled out a 3 at the beginning. If I can't pull out a 3 at the beginning, don't create a factor now that I can pull a 3 out of. That can't be the case. So if I've got to put 3, 2, this could only accommodate the 2, and this can only accommodate the 3. And then we have to FOIL to check because our sign could be wrong. So what's this going to make?
9.
Positive 9,
Negative
negative 4,
4.
positive 9 with negative 4,
5.
positive 5. I wanted a negative 5, so I'm really in the neighborhood. My only switch necessary
Side.
is the signs to switch. I don't have to recheck that, that's guaranteed good. Question about that? 8x squared is for sure a guess. So what are our 8 choices?
4, 2.
Could be 4, 2. I would refuse to put 4, 2. Why would I refuse to put 4, 2? Not even just that. What are 4 and 2 both? Type?
Like,
Evens. 4 and 2 are both evens. So if I stack up 2 evens, everything I FOIL has to then turn out even. And I want to produce an odd. So 4, 2 has no hope. Additionally, I do see that 49 is way bigger compared to its peers. So I'm going to go bet heavy on 8x and x. That's really not a guess. That's a certainty. Signs?
negative or minus.
Pluses.
Both pluses. If this is a plus, we go same as the other one, so absolute both pluses.
I thought the equal sign was a plus.
Okay, that would mess you up. 6 is a little bit of guesswork. Who could 6 do us?
3, 2.
3, 2, or 6, 1. Could be 3, 2, or 6, 1. Is there like an even odd reason to avoid either of those?
No.
No? Okay, but with 6, 1, I already know who's going where. Okay, if I have to get an odd, that means this odd has to multiply another odd. Okay, so this odd has to multiply another odd for that. So that's got to be an odd number. So do you want to go with the 1 there, or do you want to go with the 3 there?
1.
I'd go with the 1. I'm going to go 1, 6, even though I said I avoid the 1 pairs usually. Why on this one are we embracing those?
Big.
That's really big. Compared to, like, if you see 8 times 6 is 48, and we're even bigger than that, it's probably going to make you do that with the FOIL. Okay, so if we FOIL, this is 48, there's my one more, that is the 49. The ones usually stick out because those middle numbers get kind of big, because if one number goes low, the other number has to go high. So if we're getting a big middle number, we must have some of those high pairs. 12s are a nightmare, okay, because when you go to do 12s, it could be 3, 4, it could be 6, 2, it could be 12, 1. Are there any of those pairs I would absolutely 100% refuse to do? I won't 100% refuse 12, 1 though. I would 100% refuse 2, 6. Why would I 100% reject 2, 6? Because it's an odd number. If I have an odd middle, I need to get some odds in my question. So 12 can't be 2, 6. I wouldn't 100% avoid 12, 1, but would I avoid 12, 1? I would. I would only embrace the 12, 1 if I had something here that was getting me up in my times table of 12 answers. I'd have to be foiling 12 times somebody. So if this is in like 50s, 60s, 100s, I might embrace my 12-ness. But I'm going to say 4, 3. Signs? Yeah, they're different. I'll go the order he said. I have no idea if those are right. That is a complete guess. I have no shortcut idea on that. Then I've got another 12. We've already said we're not doing 6, 2. We're probably avoiding 12, 1. So we're probably embracing 3, 4. I refuse to try here the 4. Because if I tried a 4 here, that means I could take out the 4. And if I couldn't take out a 4 before, don't create an answer you could take a 4 out of. That doesn't make any sense. So this probably needs the 3, although it might need the 1. I can't rule that out until I'm sure this works. It could be 112. No, it can't be 112. Why can't this take a 12? If I put a 12 here, what could I do? I could take out a 3. There's no way I can take out a 3. I couldn't take out a 3 before, so 12's hopeless there. So 3, 4, maybe. Total on this? 9. Total on this? Negative 16. Negative 16, positive 9. Negative 7, that works. Okay. The biggest thing I guess I could try to coach you toward is, we're not truly guessing. This isn't blind luck guessing. If you just pay attention to even oddness, and if you pay attention to GCFs, there's not a lot of true guessing. Okay, so we're trying to do an informed guess, not just like a blind guess. You just need to know what you're doing. If you pay attention to what you're doing, you're okay. There's some of you in here that if I said, if this high school basketball team played that high school basketball team, what would happen? Some of you would have no clue, and that's okay. You don't need to follow high school basketball. But if somebody asked me, this high school team's playing this high school team, what do I think is going to happen? I'd probably have a pretty good guess, like, because I'm informed. Just be informed. GCFs is helping inform you. Even odd middleness is helping inform you. The size of the middle number helps inform you. Be informed. It's not a lot of guesswork. The only thing I can't help you with is when the signs are different, I don't know a trick for that. If anybody ever learns a trick for that, share it with me. I'll be even smarter than I am. But I don't have a trick for that. I slop some signs down and just hope for 50-50 guessing luck. Question about any of that? So where we're headed, homework on this, we're skipping 3s, and they, I believe, have conveniently located these into columns for you. So there's a whole column you can just skip on 223. We're going to skip 3s, we're going to go to 51, and then because there was some amount of demand for it, and it amuses me, I'm going to show you 10 to 12 minutes of the anniversary spectacular. I'm not going to hold